Swoh Nation, good morning. Welcome to the Say It Ain't Swoh podcast. I'm your boy Say, aka Swoh. Some of the youngsters call me Uncle Swoh. Y'all know how it go. Y'all see Miss Swoh is here, aka Steph. We're coming to y'all this morning, graced by wrestling or a local wrestling legend. Not local, but he's known worldwide actually. Uh,
Local-ish.
eh,
He's local adjacent.
to us a little bit, but he is our friend Jesus. But to you guys, y'all may know him as Ricardo Rodriguez.
Yay!
Hey
Hola, hola.
Zeus,
Thank you so much for being
Buenos
here.
dias.
how you doing this morning,
Absolutely.
my friend?
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. I'm actually very thankful that after all these years, somebody still wants to talk to this old man.
Old man, wait a second. We're the same age, so what does that make
I'm
me?
about to say, what that make me, man? Come on, man. You see
No,
this,
no,
right?
no,
You
no,
see?
no,
Do you
no,
not see the
no.
silver, the little silver linings? You not see
I got a
the
couple like
salt
gray
going on here
hairs.
with the pepper? So, first and foremost, we were told to pass a message on to you.
Yes.
Say hi to my boo bear.
Missy.
Yep.
Hi. I'm
Yes,
Missy.
so Boo Bear says hi, Boo Bear.
Yeah. So, but yeah, but Jesus, man, thank you so much for your time this morning, man. We'll look, I mean, we just there's no, we don't like to sound like everyone else. It's just how we normally talk when we see each other in person. We just have conversations, talk like real human beings, not sound like robots. You know what I mean? Like, and
Absolutely.
it's all it is. You know what I mean? And it's also great to get to know you more than we already do. You know what I'm saying? Like, so why wrestling, man? What
Yeah.
was that always? Was that always your goal? Was
No,
that always your your uh your
Your
A your,
passion.
was
Yeah.
was that always what I like to call your plan A?
not at all. That was not my plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D, plan F, whatever. It was never. That's just the way life decided to take me, man. When I was a kid, I used to love dinosaurs, and a lot of that came because of like the Land of Time and Jurassic Park, and dinosaurs. Right? I was like, I used to love dinosaurs, so I wanted to be like archaeologist or paleontologist, and that's where like my original fascination was. And then I started kind of like getting into it more, and then math comes along, and then the devil throws letters into numbers, and then I was like, nah, I'm out. So then, so
Whoops.
then, so then I started really getting into astronomy, and I loved astronomy, like just not astrology, astronomy. I don't know much about the signs. I don't know much about the signs.
I don't know about any of that stuff.
Me either.
Yeah,
Appreciate the correction, though.
yeah. But and then same thing. So I used to love astronomy, and I would love learning about the planets and universe, and I was always curious about what was out there. And then again, numbers came into play, and that's when I was like, nope, I'm out. Uh, so so then so then little by little I started just kind of like getting out, and I started wanting to learn about just um just how people act and the psychology of human nature, and how us as people developed, and just history of life, and I started getting into all that stuff too, and life just took me a whole different way. But at the same time, I was always in sports, so I played soccer from the age of like 4, 5 till like around 12, 13. I played soccer. And eventually when I got into like school sports, and I got into school sports, and then whatever was available and whatever was there. Um, when I was 16, I had an accident. I broke my legs. So
Oh,
Oh God.
there goes soccer. I still have the scars. So I have plates and screws on both ankles. Um, so soccer was kind of out the door at that point. And when I got better, I started getting into wrestling, because that's very that's the next thing I do when I break my legs. So I started getting into wrestling, and I tried to do that in high school for a little while. Um, After that, I started getting into pro wrestling, just through backyard wrestling and goofing around with my friends. Um, and it just kind of grew on from there. When I was 19, I found this backyard wrestling group in Los Angeles. That's where I'm from, California. Um, and I found them, and I joined them. They had a wrestling ring, which was awesome. Backtrack. They had a boxing ring, which we use as a wrestling ring. And if you've ever experienced the difference between a wrestling ring and a boxing ring, they're very different, because because boxing rings are stiff. They don't have any give. So we learned how to fall. We learned how to fall, how to roll, how to tumble, all that stuff in the boxing rings. The
I did
boxing
not know that.
Yeah. There's no give on the boxing rings. They tend to be just flat surface for the most part, compared to the wrestling rings. So they're made a little different. And then ultimately from there,
Fun
I
fact,
eventually
didn't know that.
trained. Yeah, I went to go get trained. And 20 years later, I'm sitting here with you fine folks, and I'm enjoying. I'm enjoying this
Awesome, awesome.
because as of this past week, it's been 20 years. That
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. That I've been officially doing this thing. So it was never my plan. It was never my goal. It was just something that just kind of happened, and I've learned throughout my years of my adventures that sometimes I may have something in mind, but then life says, "Nope, we're gonna go this way," and we just kind of roll the punches.
And that's kind of how life works, right? Like sometimes the best plan, God's plan is always what we never is almost always what
Yeah,
we didn't have in mind.
Mm-hmm.
But it ends
'cause I
up being
never
one of the best
expected.
things that could possibly happen to you.
Absolutely. I never expected that this little, as my mom used to call it, my little hobby, pro wrestling would take me to so many different places. I got to experience so many adventures and cultures and countries and just lifestyles of just mindsets and people, uh, things that I never would have imagined that some kid from Van Nuys, California, from El Barrio would have, gotten out of there and then done so many things. And then now here in Lancaster, PA, with my own business, which that's a whole other thing. Has been a wild, insane journey.
Well, you said Van Nuys, California. Wow, that's a long way to go from there
Yeah.
to where you are now in PA.
How'd you end
And
up here?
That's what I'm saying. How did you? What happened to lead? I mean, I understand. Working WWE, like you could be anywhere in the country and let alone the world, but eventually your permanent home went from Van Nuys to where you are. I'm not saying that because unless you do, but like you're out
yeah,
here on
yeah.
the East Coast now.
My permanent home went from Los Angeles, California, to Tampa, Florida, to Orlando, Florida,
Mm-hmm.
to Jalandhar, India, to Australia, to England, to Spain, to San Antonio, Texas, to Mexico City, to Cairo, Egypt, to San Antonio, Texas, to Lancaster, PA. So those were my home.
Jeez.
Those were my home.
Wow.
Um, yeah, so and that's what I mean. Like it's all been through wrestling, which is awesome because, like I said, my mom used to always kind of constantly tell me that it was just a hobby, and I Miko, go get your real job, which I did. I was a graphic designer before I was in WWE, so I got to do that for many years, and it's no big secret of what I used to do. I mean, in LA, one of the second biggest industry next to Hollywood is the adult entertainment industry. So
Mm-hmm.
I
Right, right.
adult entertainment for many years. Not in front of the camera. That was not in front of the camera. Behind the scenes and just graphic design. And I was a 20 to 24-year-old kid, working in that industry. So it was wild. Um,
Awesome. First and foremost, awesome.
yeah, it ruins the magic. It ruins the magic of it all. Uh, when you see how much work goes into it. But yeah, so I did graphic design for that for many years, and then obviously WWE came knocking, and then that kind of happened, and it just went from there. And another thing, obviously, that I've been very open about of how I ended up here in Lancaster was my substance abuse addiction.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I ended up here in Lancaster. I was in San Antonio, Texas. COVID was not a good time frame for me, and just I had nothing to do. I couldn't travel. I couldn't go anywhere. So all I had to do was just drink it all away and then hope for
Right.
time to pass. And I ended up here in Lancaster. I did my time at Blueprints for addiction recovery.
Okay.
And then when I was almost about to be done with my time, the owner of Blueprints, Chris Reisbach, who is now my business partner, he's like, "So what do you plan on doing now?" And my original plan was to go back to Egypt. That was my original plan. I was going back to Cairo. I loved it over there. I can't express how much I loved it over there. And I had a deal of going from Cairo to Qatar to Saudi Arabia to then Dubai. and I was going to be jumping back and forth, just teaching wrestling.
Hmm.
And I would have lived like a king over there, which was awesome. I was, oh man. Um, and then Chris convinced me. He goes like, "Why don't you just open up your own thing here? You've done this XYZ for so many other people under so many different banners. Why don't you just open up one under your name?" And 4 years in, here we go. We built and we started through Legacies Wrestling, and it's been an interesting journey. The last 4 years, as a business owner, has been wild. The thing that I question my sanity sometimes because I decided to tackle sobriety and business ownership at the same
Mm.
time, which that was like a double punch in the face.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
Oh yeah.
that's a double. That's a double one, and I'm still, I'm not an expert at it, and we all fight the battles, not just of the sobriety aspect, but also too just the business ownership aspect,
Yeah.
nonstop, and that never ends. So, um, obviously, there's always gonna be that monkey, when you're in addiction, that's always gonna be there. So that never goes away. You just learn how to deal with it a little better,
Mhm.
and
Absolutely.
handling that plus this pressure of running a business and starting it up and then trying to constantly push it forward. Because it'd be so easy just to at the end of the day say, screw this, I'm gonna go get messed up just to relax, right?
Right.
I already know how I function. Like if I have that one little sip, the moment that sweet little nectar touches my tongue, we're off for the races. So obviously I have to tell myself, hey, don't do that. Uh,
It's self accountability is important, man.
Oh man, it's insane. Yeah, but I'm grateful. I'm grateful for all of this. I'm grateful for the adventure that we've been embarking on, and just to see how many people are are part of this journey. Right. That's I
Right.
think the biggest thing that's been interesting. Because I never thought in my wildest of years to have been blessed to have worked for WWE, but also to travel the world because of wrestling, and then now still many years later, obviously my body can't handle a lot of the pressure of being in the ring as much as when I was 10 years ago or so. But I'm still able to do it, and I'm still able to provide a space for people to to live their dream and have a platform. And I
Mhm.
Right.
think that's what's really cool about it. So I'm grateful to still be a part of it. I'm grateful that we have something here that we can do to bring in not just dreamers, but people that can come in not just in pro wrestling, but also just businesses, and then kind of
Right.
network with each other and then offer again that platform, which I'm very grateful that through my years I've been able to learn, and through the good and the bad of working for WWE and now working for Major League Wrestling, which I've
Mhm.
been with them for 3 years now, and it's cool. It's cool to be able to take these students or just wrestlers that come in through Legacies Wrestling and then give them a way, an avenue to expand and then eventually grow and become, bigger than they ever thought they could be.
And this it goes back to the bottom line of just, you know what I'm saying, what we see for ourselves. God's plan is always better, and I just look at it like I'm grateful, man, because like bro, you always came out in that tuxedo. Just to pivot back real quick to your WWE days, man. I say, yo, why Ricardo out here always looking sharp and shit? Like, yo, I'm about to go buy. He almost wanted me to learn how to tie a bow tie again. I said, fuck it, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm gonna stick to my
I
tie.
won't ruin the surprise of what the tie was then. Uh,
Was it
I won't ruin the magic.
really?
What?
Just
I
a
won't ruin the magic.
Oh, well then I'm gonna stick to my looping it, swooping it, and pulling. I'm cool with that. You know what I'm saying?
so what would you say like your favorite of all time? It could be professional televised WWE, it could be
Indies.
indies. What's your favorite moment in your career? Like of all time, like just stands out to you. This is it for me. This is my absolute favorite moment. What would you say that is?
I don't know if it's fair to specifically specify one moment, but because I think a lot of the my top moments were culminations of a series of events that led to that point. So I don't think it's one specific thing, and then each one is individually unique to the others. So it's
Mhm.
not. I don't think it would be fair to classify one as my top moment. Um, Obviously, in recovery, we try and celebrate gratitude. So my favorite moment today was waking up sober. That was my favorite
Amen.
moment.
Amen.
Amen.
Waking
Yeah.
up sober, waking up still alive. I still have my roof. I have a vehicle. I have a job. So I'm grateful for things like that. So that's my favorite moment so far. That everything that has led me to that moment has been my favorite moment. So that's just one of those like internal things that we
Hmm.
have to do constantly. I do obviously have specific moments that I treasure and then I savor and I have pictures of them. Obviously the first time I got to step into the ring in any form, and then just feeling what that passion would turn into. So back in what was North Hollywood, California, the first time I got into that ring, I was like, man, this is cool. This is cool. And then you take that first bump and you're like, okay, it hurts, and then you develop this little like masochist inside of you.
Yeah.
'Cause this hurts, but like let's go. Um, that was especially my first match. The first time I got to travel internationally because of wrestling. So I went down to Mexico. I wrestled in Mexico, and then the first time I went out of Los Angeles to wrestle. The first time I went out of state to wrestle, and the first time I went out of the continent to wrestle. So those are serious moments. The first time I wrestled a WWE guy, that was awesome
Yeah.
because they trusted me enough that hey, I can have a good match with this guy, or they trusted him to have a good match with me rather. And when I did my tryout, how everything led up to that tryout for WWE. It was just a thing that this guy Jesse Hernandez saw me wrestle once, and he's like, "Hey, WWE's coming to town in about 2 months. Would you like to do a tryout for them?" I was like, "Dude, you just met me, but sure." Um, and I did my
You gotta
tryout.
love it.
Yeah, I did my tryout, and I just spoke about this the other day on social media. How I have this constant reflective moment of what would have happened had. Let me backtrack. Sorry, I was not the original pick for the ring announcing spot. It was somebody else. So what would have
Okay.
happened had that guy said, "Yes, I'll do it"? And then when they finally did ask me, because he said no, that he couldn't make it the next day to Bakersfield, California, to SmackDown, what would have happened had I done the same thing that he did and said, no, I can't make it, which technically I couldn't have. But, I was like, yeah, I'll do it. I'll shuffle stuff around. And I still made it happen. So I ended up going and I said yes. I said yes to the questions that they were asking me, which the answer, the real answer would have been no. I don't have a tuxedo. No, I don't. I've never done ring announcing before. Can you make it tomorrow? I mean, technically, yes, but I have this thing, but whatever. Um, so what would have happened had I said no to that? What would have happened had the other guy said yes? Uh, Now, so it's like those little individual moments that kind of led up to that. And what would have happened had I just completely, like shit the bed on SmackDown? Um, which thankfully it was supposed to be a one-off just for Del Rio's debut,
Yeah.
and Vince liked the whole appeal of it, so they decided to keep me. So thank you, Vince, for taking in the stray cat that just kind of wandered in,
Yeah.
and I'll forever be grateful for it. Um, so then, shortly thereafter, that was in California, and then the next week they flew me out to Boston, which was a nightmare because I've never been on my own somewhere that far. And if you've ever traveled to Boston, especially in downtown area, if you go down under the tunnels, the GPS doesn't work. Uh, Especially back then. Back then, the GPSs were not as great as they are now. But the tunnels in Boston, if you miss one exit, you have to go like 2-3 miles exit, come back around, and then come back in. Um,
Yep. Yep.
so so that
Mm-hmm.
was a nightmare. But yeah, those were just little things along this journey. So the first time in Boston, my first pay per view, my first international tour WWE, my first WrestleMania. Those are specific moments that were
Hmm.
cool. Being in the ring with Rey Mysterio, you know how awesome that is, because that to me was like one
Uh,
of my childhood heroes. The first time I took the 619, um, yeah, no, those things were cool. Hold on, do I have it? Do I have it? I know I just had it. Hold on.
He's got treasures, yo. He's got treasures. Stand by.
Like, you know, stuff
Oh,
like that.
God,
That's
that's right. Got his action figure. Love it. Love it.
stuff like that. That's those are my favorite moments. So it's a culmination of different things. It's a whole collaborative effort of so many things that the universe just kind of plays together. Um, so yeah, That was a long-winded answer to your short answer to your
No,
No,
question.
I love it. I love
the
it.
passion, man. Like, and that's why I'm just sitting here and we're just sitting here absorbing it, man, because clearly,
It,
like, what wasn't your plan A became a passion of yours. You know what I mean?
it
Because
is,
like,
and
look how locked into it you are
Yeah.
now. You know what I mean?
and it
Even
became
post WWE.
the life. Yeah, it became the life, and there was. It's also this passion too that I have because let me backtrack a little bit.
Yeah,
Um, I did an interview not long ago, and then they go like, "What's different about your Legacies over somebody else?" And I said, "Me." Um, and it wasn't in a
great
cocky,
answer.
arrogant way. I straight up just said because I don't know anybody in this area that is as focused, driven, obsessed, and passionate about what we're doing. Um, because I've seen what's around, and also just in my travels, I'm obsessed with this. I am obsessed with this.
Yeah.
Is it unhealthy? I don't know, but it's working.
But
Maybe
it's working.
That's
it's
the whole point.
working.
It's working. You know what I mean? Like,
So
it's
like,
not what you do is not made. It's not for everyone else to understand. You
no,
understand it, and
absolutely.
that's the whole point. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like,
And there's this level of understanding. Yeah, being humble. There's this level of humility and understanding. Hey, all this could be gone like that, and
hundred
understanding
percent,
that, right? Because it can
hundred
be.
percent.
It could all be gone like that. But I also, and I'm gonna say this, pardon my French, but I also know who the fuck I am.
Right.
Let's fucking go.
Yes. You know what you
You
bring
know,
to the table. You know the knowledge that you have, the physical experience that you have. Nobody has your knowledge and experience like you do.
and
Um,
it's not even that. It's not even that. Because there are people that I've met just in not just in wrestling, but in business. Because I get myself involved with a lot of communities around here, and just business communities. And I see something that's very common, and they're all so driven and disciplined, and motivated and ambitious and hungry. And we go back to the same word of obsession. They're obsessed with what they do, and they live and breathe it and experience it 24/7. So that's more so what I bring to the table is I'm driven as a motherfucker
Let's
to make
go.
this happen.
hmm
How I'll get there, I don't know, but I'll figure it out. I
Yeah.
constantly have this constant battle in my head of like, man, this is not working out. How do I fix this? Because and then obviously, and you would know too, as you run your own business, um, this doesn't turn off. This doesn't
No.
turn off. It's always
I
going.
I feel that.
Uh,
I feel that.
I'll be on my drives from the school which I'm at now back home. It's just 30-40 minute drive. And I'm just like, all right, how do I do this better the next time? How that didn't work out? Why didn't it work out? How do I analyze this and how do I fix it? How do I get this person to understand this? I got to make payroll. I got to make the bills. I got to pay this. How do I up our financial situation? We have this show coming up. How do I make that better so people can kind of come back? Now we got these storylines. We
Sounds
got this
like you.
talent. Now we got to work on this. And it's just constantly on 24/7. It's always going. And um, and then trying your hardest to not drive yourself crazy. But
Yeah.
I will say that something that I've learned too, that if I were to have paid attention to my mental health, I would not be as successful as I am today.
Amen.
Mm.
Uh,
Amen
and
to
I
that.
mean, what I mean by that is I have to ignore my feelings, and I have to stay the course. That's where that discipline comes in. There's times I don't want to get up. I don't want to get up, but I have to get up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
what I want versus what I need are two different things, right? I need to get up.
Yes.
I don't want to get
absolutely.
up. I need to get up. I need to go do this. I need to go do that. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. But no, I got to get up because there's not just um, me that's on the line, but there's so many other things that are on the line, and there's a
Right.
lot of people that are relying on me. And I also learned a long time ago that I'm not doing this for anybody else other than me.
Right.
hmm
Because at the end of the day, and I mean this in the most respectful manner, I don't got shit to prove to anybody. I don't.
Exactly.
It's the
I've done
best
my
part,
cool
man.
stuff. I've done my stuff. But yeah, like I've done a lot of cool stuff, and I'm gonna continue to do cool stuff. So, but I'm not doing this for anybody else other than just me.
Yeah.
Uh, and that's the legacy that I want to leave behind. That's if I'm able to bring as many people with me as I can, that's awesome. But I also have to make sure that what I'm giving is valued and cherished and cared for and used in a great way. Because
Right.
if you no longer serve your purpose, you're not a part of the team anymore, and
Exactly.
hmm
you're not helping build this. So I'm gonna keep going regardless. whether this ends today, tomorrow, whatever, whether this ends, yeah, it'll suck. I put my time, but I'm gonna keep moving. But I want to bring as many people with me, and I've been very grateful that, sure, I'm not gonna please everybody. I know that. I'm fully aware of that. I've learned that lesson thousands of times in my journey. Um, People have opinions of me, and that's 1,000% okay. I've had opinions of people too, right? And they carry on. They carry on with their lives. There it is. They carry on with their lives. Um, that's fine. But at the end of the day, man, like I take pride in what we do. I take pride in the platform that we've been able to give some folks. I take pride in the community efforts to make those kids smile, to bring families together for 4 hours on a Saturday, once a month, twice a month, um, and I'm all right with that.
Yeah.
I don't know where I was going with that, but that was a long
No,
one.
No, it's okay.
it's okay. You know what I mean? This it's just it's very humbling to see like how passionate this is that you are about
Yeah.
this. Like if everyone had a passion like you do about this business, about whatever they're doing in their lives, I think there'll be a lot more people that are happier in life and in general.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because a lot of people just are just following the status quo. They're just doing a routine. You know what I mean? And
And
that's
to that point, yeah, to that point, that's fine. That's on them. That's 1,000% fine.
yeah,
But that's not how I function
yeah,
Right.
at all. That's not how I function at all. I gotta stay busy. I gotta keep moving. I gotta feel like I'm constantly progressing. And I've that may be toxic. I don't give a shit. So I don't
my
care.
guy.
I like this idea of constantly moving forward. I don't want to take steps back. I want to, if I do, it's only because I'm taking one step just so I can leap forward.
Right,
That's what I want to keep doing, and it's not always going to work that way. And I
right.
know we've all had plans that, hey, we're going to do this, and this, but again, the universe says no. Hold on, we're going to take a step back because you're getting ahead of yourself. So let's slow that down a little bit. And we may see it as like, oh man, I'm a failure, because I'm constantly battling this in my head all the time. You're a failure. You're not going to do this. And like, no, man, just slow down a little bit. Take that second, take that pause, reassess so we can take that giant leap forward. And like I said, I go back to something, man. I'm grateful of what we have and what we built, to be able to provide a lot of these kids avenues so they can,
Yeah,
Yeah.
live their dreams, and then be able to take them to MLW so they can wrestle on TV, be hired by a multi-million dollar company. Um, that's still a dream come true for me now, because
absolutely.
at that point, my passion now is to give back to them. This industry has taking a lot from me, but it's also given me so much, that if I'm able to just by a little bit say, hey, this is what's available. It's gonna be hard. It's not easy at all, but it's doable. And I stand here as proof to you that if you just keep going, you can also do it.
Right,
Don't make the
absolutely.
same mistakes that I made. Hey, do this, don't do that. And I know also too. I realized that, soy Mexicano, so I grew up in a very different mindset. My parents being from a small little rancho in Mexico, a small little town, of the hardship, and then, hey, life's hard, life's tough, life doesn't give
I
you things, you have to work for it.
oh yeah,
Right? That's the mentality that we grew up with. Obviously, being a man in the Latino community, uh, hey, feelings are secondary to what has to be done, and it's a different time, obviously, and I totally understand. I totally get it. I've said in the past where I was not a big fan of the whole idea of mental health until I started experiencing situations, and once I went through therapy and recovery, I became more open to the idea. Um,
absolutely.
but at certain points, we also have to take accountability and be like, "No, man, we got to get up, get up.
Yeah.
You can't blame. You can't constantly keep blaming, your laziness on your sad. You're sad because you're lazy, man. Get up. Let's keep moving. Let's
Mm-hmm.
go moving. You're gonna find that serotonin. You're gonna find a little bit of joy of just being able to get up and just constantly being productive.
That
Um,
dopamine boost.
Yo, absolutely. You have to give
Hmm.
it to yourself, right? So you got to get up. For me right now, it's this, but this is gonna give me a little kickstart to. But also too, I think too, again, growing up, my parents they were immigrants from Mexico, and so we didn't have a lot. So it was a lot of like, they instill the idea of, you work hard, dreams can't come true. And that was, my mom was such a dreamer, but my dad was more of the realistic one. So I
Yeah.
got a mixture of the both. Um, where my dad was my anchor, whereas my mom was, like I said, the dreamer, the wings. Um, so I got this cooler combination of both, and it's all possible. You just got to set your steps along the
Uh,
way and celebrate those victories. I think sometimes we have such this big goal in mind at the end of the tunnel that we forget all the little things that we did along the way,
Yeah.
and we're so hyper focused on the end result that we don't realize,
Yes.
hey man, we just did this. Let's celebrate that. We just did that. Let's celebrate that too, right? And we watch the progress as we step forward. Because if you take one step each day, by the time you look back without realizing, you've already walked a mile, not even realizing it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Absolutely.
I mean, the hardest part is starting.
yeah,
And
yeah,
that's the hard, not even the hardest, not just the hardest, but it's also the scariest because
it
Mm-hmm.
is.
of the unknown that comes with it. Because you go from a safety net of a cushion of a 9 to 5 or whatever it is to doing something on your own. And it's I mean, I'll be the first to say that I'm definitely at 41, I'm trying to still finding that way. You know what I'm saying? And that's doing this. You know what I mean? Like I'm humbled and grateful. You know what I mean? Like because like I have that cushion, but yet what we're doing here, what you're doing, and what I'm doing here, like what we're all doing here, this is what brings us joy, and that's the one thing nobody
Sure,
can
absolutely.
control. You know what I mean? And that's
Right.
what what I mean. That's the end goal. You know what I'm saying? Is to do this what we're doing here amongst the many things that we probably got our hands into as the 9 to 5. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely. And obviously, and you know this as well too. Like, dude, this is scary because I don't have guaranteed pay. I pay myself once a year, and that's after the Rumble. You know, and that's not even a lot. That's
Yeah.
when you break down how much time and effort and hours you put into this to how much I pay myself at the end, at not even at the end of the year. Man, I'm maybe making like 50 cents an hour.
Yeah.
uh, at that point.
Yeah.
So it's there's no guaranteed pay for me on this one. I have to make sure everybody else gets paid before I do.
Right.
I'm the
Yeah.
first one here on show days. I'm the last one to leave. Um, so like their happiness and joy is way ahead of mine. So I have to
Yes.
constantly put them first. I put myself very last. And meanwhile, this is the fun stuff about all of this is that those same people whose mouths are feeding are the same ones that are talking shit sometimes. You know, uh,
Yes.
and that's the beautiful thing
Oh,
about this.
Brett.
So the
Mind-boggling.
exact same motherfuckers that I'm feeding are the same ones that are barking back.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I'm feeding them scraps from my food, from my plate to them, so they can keep carrying on. Right, and that's just unfortunately how it goes sometimes.
My thing is though, Jesus, like at this age, I mean, I know with it's a little different for you, right? Because you have a variety in age with who you deal with in your school. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? You know what I mean? I don't know if you got as young as maybe like 19, 20 to as old as we are. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Or like in the like early to mid 30s. Because I know there's a certain cutoff, this myth of a cutoff age in wrestling,
right.
but as far as like what the body can handle when you get to that age, like this age. But
Yeah,
um it's also about the mentality. Like you spoke on mental health. I'm big on mental health. I've been an advocate most of my adult life.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Because I ignored it myself. You know what I
sure.
mean? And
Same.
it's hearing you talk about it before. Like you answered a lot of questions that I didn't even really need to ask
Yeah.
up until this point. So it's like you hit the nail on the head, man. Like if you want to be happy, like you got to start here. You got to
Yep,
start here because if this ain't right, nothing else will be.
Yeah.
right.
You feel
Thousand
what I'm
percent.
saying? Like no matter what you do, no matter who you deal with, no matter who you surround yourself with, if you're not right up here, you ain't good to nobody else.
The one thing how I always start my day with a victory, right? And that's just by making my bed. That's my first victory of the day. So I wake up in the morning and I make my bed, and that's my first win. Everything else from there, we'll leave it to the universe. But all I know is that I started my day with the win because I made my bed.
Yeah.
And that's how I started, right? So I'm already like, all right, we're good. Let's rock and roll, and then everything else from there, we just kind of figure it out as we go along. Um, I like I said, I for the longest, I didn't think that mental health was a real thing because that's not what we grew up in. We grew up in the Latino culture
Yep.
of like, oh man, suck it up. You ain't a
Yep.
bitch. Is your leg hurt? Is your leg broken? No, then get up.
Did you die?
It's
Like,
to work. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. You got this. Here's a crutch. Get to work.
yeah,
And there's still certain points. There's still certain aspects of it that I still hold on to that, and I'm grateful that I still do, because then I think some people let their, what would be the best way to put it? I think so many people use that as a crutch for things that they can avoid, that they
Yeah.
can, get better, that they can fix it themselves, and they use it as a crutch, and they use it as a, oh, woe is me. He's like, no, I get, things are tough, man, for a lot of folks.
Yeah.
Are tough, but at the same time, like, yeah, you're allowed, and I've said it before, like, you're allowed to feel sad, you're allowed to, feel upset, mad, whatever it may be, but you're not allowed to stay in that mentality.
Yeah.
Right.
That's where you have to be like, all right, so the change is on you, nobody else. The world's gonna keep moving. Life is gonna keep functioning. So like you have to make that change. You have to want that desire to want to get better. It's the same thing with recovery. I cannot force you to stop drinking if you don't want to stop drinking.
Right.
I can't make you drop, leave that pipe alone if you don't want to change. Because at the end of the day, you're gonna go right back to it. We can talk, we can sit, and that's something that I do on the side too. Is I work with folks that are in addiction, and this is a constant conversation I have with them. Like you want to have to, because I can't hold your hand, and then the moment I let go of you, that you're gonna go run back to it.
Yeah.
That
Yep.
doesn't do service to anybody, and it's just it doesn't do any good. So I can show you I can show you this and this and this and this and this and this. I can show you what's available and what's possible. But if you don't try, if you don't want to put that step effort in and you want to take that step forward, then hey, you're just gonna go right back to what you were doing.
100%.
But that's the same thing with well, not the same thing, but similar in aspects to the idea of the mental aspect. Yeah, we all get sad. All of us, we all get sad. We all get upset. We all get depressed. We all feel, because we're human. That's human nature. We all feel those feelings. But at the end of the day, it's like, what do you want to do about it? What do you want? Do you want to stay in that and then just be stuck there, and then just blame the world? Which I know a lot of people that do that. They just constantly punishing everybody and anything, and pushing their unhappiness on everybody, not directly, but just because they're so constantly in their head, and they're pushing for they're like not wanting. I don't know if they want. That's not the word. They're not seeking options because they're just enclosed in that little small like room in their head. So and then something that my therapist, I love my therapist because he's a straight shooter. And I remember one day I was telling him about like how I was feeling, whatever, and he's like, "So what are you gonna do about it?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Are you gonna stop being a bitch and just go outside?"
The therapist though? Good
Yeah,
Lord,
yeah,
I
yeah.
love that.
Oh yeah, he's like, you're just bitching. Like you're just bitching. There's a lot of things that you can do. You're just bitching, and there's a lot of things that you can do to get better. Legit, go outside. Because I was telling him in a nutshell, there's a whole lot. There's a lot. Of like I was just like stuck in this room basically. He's like, dude, like cut off for an hour. Just go outside. And he's like, just stop being a
Wow.
little bitch. And I was like, you know what?
That's
I was like,
yeah,
yep.
I
that's
love
a
that though.
hell of a
That's gonna be my
therapist.
advice for
Yeah.
people from now on. Stop being a bitch. Go outside.
Go outside.
He
Like
said, "Go
legit,
out." I
just
was
go
ready for
outside.
that
Just
last
go for a
part
walk,
though.
dude. Just go for a
Go
walk.
outside. Go touch grass.
Essentially to the that's base. Essentially, that's it. Like go outside,
Go.
man. Like you do, just turn off your phone. Turn off your
Yeah.
phone. Go outside. Just go
Yeah.
outside. You're gonna realize there's so much beauty out there. Just go for a walk, right? Just go around the block.
Yeah.
There's a little park. He's like, go sit at the park. Just go outside, dude. Just unwind for an hour, and then come back. You're gonna feel so much refreshed. And if you give yourselves those little small breaks, like dude, you'll be able to handle a lot more than what you're taking in. There
And
again,
that
there's a whole lot more that was with that, but essentially that was the nutshell.
Yeah.
absolutely. So here's a question. Here's a question. Like pivoting here. Uh, and we asked, all our guests. We've had what, four? This will be a fifth. Yeah, I mean, so,
Maybe. I don't know. I've lost
but so past, current, and of all time, who is your current and all time male favorite wrestler? And the same question for female. Who is your favorite current and all time female wrestler, whether they're in the pros like WWE, AEW, TNA, or in the indies? Like who's like your current and all-time favorites, like male and female.
So, all-time favorite male, Eddie Guerrero, easily. Current,
Yes, I was hoping you say that.
probably Ray. Ray, because to me, as a kid, seeing a Mexicano, on TV was cool, and that's awesome. And then it was the same thing, similar with Eddie. When Eddie was there representing, that's why I think representation does matter.
Yes,
Yes.
100%.
It was something to look forward to. So to me, I was like, man, that those guys, right? They carry my flag, and I love that. They have names like mine. Our skin colors match. Like they do things. They say things like I do. That gives me a little bit of hope that we're being seen up there. So I love stuff like that. So Eddie and Ray will probably be my two guys, and I'm very grateful I got to wrestle Ray many times. So that's just one of those, it's always stuck in my head. When it comes to the females, Asuka is definitely one of them. Asuka's definitely one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Current, or is she current or all time?
No, I would probably say all time. Oh man,
Because Asuka's phenomenal. Like she's ain't nobody touching Asuka like in the ring or in real life.
I think only because she's probably gonna see it. Missy Sampson's my favorite all time. Yeah, we'll go with that.
Is he gonna be like, "Excuse me, Boo Bear"?
Missy fucking Sampson.
Missy is she's phenomenal, man.
Missy again. Before we let you go, I did want to ask, how did the 3LW Bell to Bell collab come about? We talked to Missy a little bit about it, but I'd love to hear from you too.
From your perspective, yeah.
So obviously, I've known Missy for a while already, and we've had a lot of conversations. Just sharing ideas and philosophies on the industry and his mindsets and just how to go about certain things. There's been times where I've been stuck on things and I'm like, hey, how do I fix this and how do I do this? And then she'll tell me, and vice versa, how do I handle this? So then last year, unfortunately when Monster Factory was shutting down, had informed me about it early on. So we were already planning to do collaborations, and we did throughout the fall and winter of last year. We did some stuff together, and then I had the Bella Bell, the Ruby Championship, and then the Diamond Championship being defended through Legacies.
Right.
And the idea just kind of sparked one day of doing like a collaboration, a dual event, so between Bella Bell and through Legacies. And then this is an idea I've had for a while. And then what was it on Saturday, I just hit her up and I was like, hey, I'm going to do this. Do you want to be a part of this? Which I knew she was going to say yes.
Oh, absolutely.
But, I still, yeah. But I wasn't asking her. I was like, this is what I'm going to do. Do you want to be a part of this?
Not giving her a choice, huh?
Yeah, right. Because
that's very brave. That's very brave of you, considering it's Missy fucking Sampson. Like, nobody tell her shit. And that's a scary woman right there. You hear me?
Yeah. But yeah, I knew she was gonna say yes. I figured. Well, let me take that back. I figured she would say yes. I was hoping she was gonna say yes.
Oh yeah. Missy loves you, man. Like she sings your praises up and down when we were talking to her yesterday. Like she like it's like not many people that she'll just like not even give any pushback to. Like you're definitely one of those people for her.
I think one thing that we got along with a lot in our conversations was, and you might relate to this, that after you've been through so much and after you've done so many things, you kind of have less empathy for some bullshit in people and excuses because you've already been through it. And also, just because I sympathize with you doesn't mean I'm gonna let you use your woes as an excuse to not get better.
Absolutely.
Because we all have it, we all go through it, but a lot of us have pushed through it, so we know it's doable and possible. And we're going to try and give you the as many options and as many avenues to try and get over it, so you can get better. So that's definitely one thing that we got along with a lot. Was we've all been through a lot of stuff in our lives and our careers, and we're still here. So you develop a little bit less. I don't want to say sympathy, but sympathy for bullshit.
Yeah. For like
Yeah.
basically for like a lack of better term.
Tolerance. Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. Like I know it's the day after Christmas.
Mhm.
This year. Missy confirmed some names for us already, like who's going to be there. And I know you guys are still working on the
Yes.
details in regards to who's going to face who in the ring. You know, what I mean,
Yeah.
and or championships being defended,
Yeah.
etc. So, we're looking forward to that. We're already,
Very excited.
what I mean, we already let the Swoh Nation know, like, hey, what I mean, especially the ones in the area, what I mean, in the Lancaster area, like Delaware, Philly, Maryland, like, hey, to go check it out and be ready for like a post Christmas bonus. What I mean, if you're a
Oh
wrestling
yeah.
fan,
Oh
what I
yeah.
mean.
And then we'll be at the Middlesbrough University at the Ville Courts, which is a big venue, which is awesome venue. And Middlesbrough University has been awesome in the last 3 years that we've been with them. And yeah, gorgeous campus. The venue is amazing and a lot of space. So invite as many people as possible. Tickets only start at $15, so that's general admission. So definitely worth it.
Oh, absolutely. We already put the Swoh Nation on notice.
Yes.
Since Missy made us aware of it, we already put it on blast, man. Like,
Perfect.
because we love what you're doing, man. We love what that you're, the give and take that you've experienced in the business, man. The fact that you're still giving back in the manner that you are while maintaining your own livelihood and doing what
Yeah.
you do outside of wrestling, man. That's admirable. That's strength right there. That takes
Yeah,
that
appreciate that.
mental fortitude right there, man. Like, not many people got that grit, that grind. You know what I mean? And that's the thing with Team Swoh. That's always been my saying. Keep grinding. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
that's like, and life ain't gonna wait up. Like you said, life ain't gonna wait up for none of us, man.
No.
Like, it's
No.
gonna keep that train gonna keep rolling. So you either jump on at some point or get left behind.
Yep.
That's how it is. You know what I mean? And
Absolutely.
it's I'm love seeing what you're doing,
Yeah.
Jesus. Like, I just love to see, like, first of all, thank you for trusting to talk to us so openly about your
Yeah.
own personal struggles that shaped you and molded you and grew you to get to this point where you are, as a man, as a human being, as a wrestling promoter now. You know what I'm
Business
saying?
owner,
As a
yeah.
business owner, everything that you do, every hat that you wear, man, and you carry that with such pride and you carry that with such poise. And I love seeing that, man. Like, and your time, which I know is so, all of our time is valuable, right? Because it's the most valuable asset we have, because we don't know how much of it we have. You know what I mean? So I'm grateful personally for you
Yeah.
giving us some of that time this morning, man, because like you've been uh you're definitely one I can remember as far as the Vince era of WWE, man.
Yeah.
I almost came to a show in a suit one time because of your ass. Like,
You
just to
should.
be just to be funny. I'm like, I'm not coming with the bow tie though. And I mean,
Yeah, we
but
already established he can't tie a bow tie.
I can't do the bow tie. We're not
Clip
even
on.
gonna do that.
Clip on.
Just a little clip on. So where can we find you on social?
Like,
Plug your socials.
This is the time to do
The only
what they
one I
call the
want
cheap
everybody to
plugs.
go. Yeah, the only one I want everybody to follow is Three Legacies Wrestling on Facebook. On YouTube, if folks just subscribe, is only $1.99. You get access to all the shows, all the events, and obviously with that we're able to fund bigger events, and it's the community effort that we're bringing in, that community that comes together to unify everybody for the love of pro wrestling. So Three Legacies Wrestling on Facebook and on YouTube, check it out. And we have the Red Rose Rumble, which is our biggest event of the year on September 12th
Yes.
at Medicine Park. We will be having an awesome time. The last 3 years have just been a constant growth because Three Legacies is not just a wrestling show; it's an experience.
Yep. Even if you're not a wrestling fan, I understand how it is when it was. I promise you, Swoh Nation,
It's so
being
different.
is so different being at an actual wrestling event
Oh
as
yeah,
opposed to watching it on TV. I
absolutely.
promise you, go into an event and
Yeah, go check it out.
go check out Three Legacies Wrestling, man. Like, I mean, Jesus, great human being, a great guy and an awesome promoter, I mean, like the man that knows the business in and out for his long, he's 20 years counting, and he's still going. So check out Three Legacies Wrestling.
Yes.
Okay. Go make sure y'all find Jesus, find Ricardo, formerly known as Ricardo Rodriguez. Yo, Jesus, thank you so much for your
Thank
time
you
this
so
morning,
Absolutely, of
man.
course.
You have been great. Swoh Nation, this concludes our interview. This concludes our not even interview. This is our conversation, because I don't like calling it interviews. This is just
Right.
conversation, man. Because we're not robots. We're human beings, like we said. Let's
Yep.
just have conversation. Is that if we get back to that, man, the world will be a better place. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. I appreciate it, guys.
Thank
Appreciate
you
you.
so much.
Thank you, Jesus. And Swoh Nation, as you know, We'll be back again with our next guest announcement. So y'all stay tuned. Until then,
Stay fresh.
Priest Jesus, thank you so much, brother.